Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. I'm going to be doing a video on where I'm going. I am on my way and I won't be answering comments actually on this video. I'm actually heading to Daytona Beach, the races, and I'm going to get into a story in prison about Daytona and how I got into racing and stuff like that. So before I get started, please check me out on YouTube member programs, Patreon, Discord, all that kind of stuff. The book, Gangster Redemption, is going crazy. I just do them right here. Actually, I just signed some books for some people. But before I even get started with the video itself, I just want to say I had a major injury. I don't know if you guys could see it. I had a detached bicep just yesterday. I'm glad I'm able to do this video now. What happened was I was in my RV getting ready for Daytona, because I'm going to be on the infield in Daytona for tomorrow through Monday actually, so if you see me on the infield, say hello. But I'm gonna be on the infield with a bunch of people and friends in our RVs, and I was getting my RV ready right here, and I literally fell. Look at it, can't move it certain ways. I just got to get surgery, but I fell out of the door. I have a driver's side door on my Winnebago. A lot of RVs don't have that, but it's where the driver is. And I actually slipped the top step coming down. I fell. I ended up hitting my head on the side of my house on the box, the electrical box, and tore the bicep muscle away from, I think, the tendon or the elbow area, whatever. It was x-rayed, all that kind of stuff today. You know, they say you're gonna have to have surgery if you're gonna do it. I don't even know. I'm gonna do some more research, see another specialist, but man, painful. Wow, painful. They asked if I want a pain meds. I said no, I got my own. It's called pot. It does work, but boy, it is hard. They said, I'm looking it up. They said you could lose, 15% of your muscle strength. 85% of mine with arm strength would be more than most people, obviously. I used to be very big in the arm department. But anyway, let me get to you why I'm going to Daytona and why this was a bucket list of mine. And I did it last year, but why I'm going back, and I'm gonna do some videos and stuff like this. I got into NASCAR actually in prison. My first prison, Atlanta. We had TV rooms. You had a white TV, a sports TV room, a black TV room, and a Hispanic TV room. There were 4 TV rooms. So anyway, with the TV rooms, sports day, it would be a lot of NASCAR. I mean, let's face it, that's a white TV room. It's pretty much a white sport. I never looked at it like that actually, but that's what it is. But I personally didn't know anything about NASCAR before I went to prison. I come from New York City. I come from the Bronx and Brooklyn. We didn't follow NASCAR. We played all the major sports. We played basketball through the winter and shovel snow off basketball courts, football, of course, then baseball in the spring, stickball. We did stuff like that. We didn't have NASCAR. We didn't even know what it was. Everybody thinks in it, who would like NASCAR? You just go around a track. There's so much to NASCAR that I learned over the years from being in the TV rooms and seeing how volatile people can get over this sport, because I watched the stabbing in the TV room over NASCAR. Listen, over NASCAR. And I'm gonna tell you that story. So anyway, NASCAR I got into, and there were a couple of guys who taught me how important pit road is, and how those people who jump the wall and everything are so timed, and everything means so much. And I got into it, really into it, and I like it to this day. One of my bucket lists was actually to take an RV on the infield of the Daytona 500, the biggest race of the year. It's like the Super Bowl of racing. Well, I did that last year. During the COVID, it wasn't that great. This year, everything's there. It's going to be the Kentucky boys, people. We have 8 of us with RVs, so we're going to have a whole little compound, if you want to call it that. And it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're there for the whole 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we leave Monday. And, it was amazing, because when I first got into NASCAR, it's the same when I got into country music. We really didn't have country music in the Bronx either, and so I understand why people have their views, all the white people like country music and NASCAR. It's not true. I never even knew what it was. I did in prison, because that's the only thing I could watch. That was our TV room, if you want to call it that. And I got into it. I got into country music, and I like all music. My best is, of course, Paul Simon and Elton John and all that, Alabama and stuff like that. But getting back to the prison where I got into it. So every prison you went to, it seemed, NASCAR was a really, really big deal. So we used to have what they call pools. You'd bet. You'd take a driver and pull him out of a hat, and we'd all put up money. And we'd literally have a whole bunch of people and get in. Wow, look at how bad it is. and get into this pool, and it was pretty cool. I totally enjoyed it because it was gambling, it was action, and you get to know. That's when you really, that last lap, what's going to happen, and everything else that goes on. Who's going to get across the line first? If there's a wreck, is your guy back? Is he coming up? You're going to get second place. Because we had pools, we had year-long pools, and then we had each pool. It was amazing. It's how much time passed. Well, we were in the TV room, and these two guys, nice guys, you'd never think they'd get mad at anything. At that time, they were older than me. One was probably in his 50s, the other guy's late 40s. At this time, I'm, in my 30s maybe. I was in my mid-30s. And these two guys freaking start a major fight in the TV room. Now, when that happens in prison, we used to close the door. We didn't want anybody to know. You'd see people stand out front and kind of watch the door to make sure nobody come in or the guard wasn't coming and stuff like that. And they let them fight. They let them go at it with they had shanks, everything. Now, there's people against the wall watching this whole thing. And you don't break up fights. Normally, you don't ever break up fights in prison. You just don't. That's just, something a kind of rule. You let it play out until one of them can't move or something. Now, these guys were actually at shanks, but you could see, I always thought you could see that they really weren't looking to kill each other. That's the bad part. It's the same thing with cops with guns. I don't think they go out thinking, let's kill somebody, but they have a gun. You pull the gun, you have to use the gun. That's why I'm not a big fan of them pulling guns, unless it's the last resort, in my mind. So these guys pulled shanks, and they were half-assed doing the shanks, and it was kind of funny, but they got cut a little bit and stuff like that. And then they kind of went back and they're looking at each other, and somebody ended up saying, come on, motherfuckers, let's go, let's get you. Nobody went to the hole, nobody got in trouble. That's the big thing. And that was in Coleman Prison in Florida. It was the second one after Atlanta. And I'm going, wow, okay, this is pretty cool. These guys got into it like that over that. But that's also where I saw a pretty bad hit on a child molester. See, in prison, if you're living with a child molester, you don't know it obviously, but let's say Larry Lawton pulls the paperwork of that person. They don't know who he is, and you're not allowed to bring your paperwork into prison. So Larry Lawton does legal work. I'd find out, I'd get his docket sheet, and I'd know the crime he did. The crime would be under the statutes, and then if there's actually a crime number for having sex with a person under 12, which is, there's no excuse. I always say it here, if there's a 17-year-old with a 19-year-old, that's a pass. We didn't consider that any kind of sexual abuse. It's so crazy that the system, even our criminal justice system does. But in this case, it was bad. It was this fat guy, remember him, he had a crew cut haircut. He was fat, dumpy guy, and he lived with this other guy, and I get the paperwork, and okay, here's the deal, you got to do your thing. Well, he didn't know anybody knew anything. And he was in the TV room where we were on Sunday actually watching the NASCAR. Well, what happens in prison, if you live with the child molester, it's your job to take care of it. You get rid of him. You have to smash him, and he checks in, goes up to the hole and checks in, and he runs, they call that protective custody. But the real way, I always say, the convict way, is fucking smash him whenever you can. I don't care how big he is either, because my brother had to do that, and he hit a guy that was real big, but he hit him with a lock and a sock. Well, this one guy who was his cellie, and he was the older guy actually, and he fucking smashed him. We were in the freaking locker, in there. We knew it was happening. Certain people did. And he was sitting there just looking up at the TV. Wham, this guy hit him in the side of the freaking ear. He goes down, the guy's kicking him with his boots. Now, the guy had boots on, and they were steel-toe boots. Every time he kicks him, there's a spray of freaking blood going out. Boom, boom. It happens a lot, I've seen that. And he keeps kicking him, the place is all bloody. I mean, really bloody. So he's out, everybody leaves the TV room, boom, everybody goes back to their cells. Of course, the cops know something's going on. There's a lot of people are looking in, they know what's going on. They kind of know what's going on. They come by, they hit him, they hit the deuces. The reason they call it the deuces, to let everybody know, is because if you go to any phone in prison and you hit 222, the cops come running, so they call it the deuces. Anyway, they hit the deuces in this case, and they came, and we're all in our cells. Now, I'm always thinking, someone's gonna say, how'd you get the paperwork? What did you do? So far, I'm cool, but I'm in prison pretty new. I'm 4 years in prison. So they got him. of course, they do a big investigation. This guy's pretty fucked up. So they do a pretty good investigation, and they end up taking the celly away, put him in the hole, under suspicion of assault and everything like that. But nobody ratted. They didn't have a camera on that place at that time. You know, I used to wonder, how don't you have cameras everywhere? Even back then, they should have had cameras everywhere. But they didn't. It was just the way it was. But anyway, he gets smashed in that TV room. So that TV room was where I learned about NASCAR. I learned about country music because I used to not go to breakfast. And I used to get up out of my cell, go to the TV room, and watch country music. That's where I really found that certain people, Faith Hill and Shania Twain, I used to see the music videos. Oh my God, and they're beautiful. You watch these videos at that time. Because when I really went to prison, videos weren't a big thing. So, and I never watched them anyway. Me, that just wasn't my thing. But so here I am in this place learning where to go, how to go, and all the prisons are the same. So you'd see people in there watching NASCAR or in the sports TV room. See, that was in the white TV room. The sports TV room itself usually had basketball or a major sport, you know, and the NFL or whatever's going on, but that would always have NASCAR, that TV, the white TV room. They wouldn't play movies. I mean, you didn't see that. Very rarely at night they'd play a movie in there or something like that and people would get it. Otherwise it was something everybody liked. Here's a little thing in the TV room we did. We used to watch Survivor. It's been on that long. Since I was in prison, I was in Jessup, we used to watch Survivor and bet on it. We'd actually bet on the people and the contestants with money. And actually have it every week, go up there and have like a little watch party because it worked out perfect. The timing was on, we were out of the TV room and we got locked in right when it was like 10 o'clock, or 10 or 11 there, but they had counted 9:15. So right after the show, we used to go to our cell, get counted, get let back out. Fuck. So I gotta get used to this freaking arm because I'm having a big party coming up and I don't wanna mess that party up, if you want to call it that. I'm not going to be a pain in the ass to anybody. I'm just going to do my thing there. I'm going to do videos. I'm going to do a podcast, two podcasts, the Friday morning and the Monday morning we're going to do. Matter of fact, Benz is going to be there. So if you know Benz, he's one of my partners on the podcast. So we're going to be doing that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do a video. We're starting a new series. It's called Larry on the Road. And we're going to do that there. We're going to tape this whole thing, me going up there and hanging out and doing what I'm doing up there. People wanted to know about what I do, stuff like that. And I figured, you know, why not? Let's make a series out of it. If it's good, if you guys like it. I always try different things, whether it's the weekly news or weekly news update, which I am doing. Actually, today's Thursday, and I do today before I go. And I'm going to do that because people like it so far. I'm getting some comments. We don't get as many views. I think it's a different demographic. But I like to try things. I like to try movie reviews. I like to try Q&As. I like to try robbery fails. I like to try gaming. I like to try stuff. And it's all because you guys asked mostly for it. So people did ask about, because I mentioned sometime, I don't know where I was, whether it's Discord or something, that I'm going to the NASCAR. And they asked, well, you know, how did you get into, you know, NASCAR? You're from, you know, the Bronx and Brooklyn. There's no NASCAR out there. And there's not. I ended up becoming a Jimmy Johnson and a Hendrix motor fan person. I loved Hendrix, which had Jeff Gordon, and then had Jimmy Johnson, who became one of the greatest. I don't know how many titles he got. And I got so into it, you know everything about the racing and where they go and how to car. There were freaking guys there that I used to talk to all the time that knew every single little thing. They're from North Carolina. One of them worked in the pit crews or how it works. I learned how the pit guy, the guy is in a tower watching the whole race. It's amazing with the communications and stuff. In fact, one of my bucket lists Teresa got me was I raced around Daytona myself in a race car. I actually went to, it's called the Petty Experience, and actually I won my meet. We had 10 people in our class. They go to a 3-hour class, you gotta learn how to car and how pit road. You have to come off pit road at 80 miles an hour at Daytona, or your car will slide down the 33-degree bankment. It would slide down, so you have to hit it. And of course, I was telling the instructors, and they had no governors. I said, I'm gonna bump you. He said, go ahead, try. They're pros, of course I couldn't, but I had so much fun doing that. And I did 10 laps around Daytona. And funny thing there is actually people been asking about me getting out of the McLaren. That's a true thing. I didn't act, I didn't do any of that crap. I couldn't, I'm too big. And it was almost like when I got into the NASCAR, I had to go through the window, and it's so, I don't know how they do it. I had a new respect for those drivers who do that for 500 miles. It's just, it blows my mind away. It really does. Anyway, so I did that, and again, that's part of getting addicted to this. And I'll tell you, if you've never been to Daytona, you gotta go once. I did it from the infield, and I will tell you the sound, it's amazing. It's amazing, the sound. It's like a sound you'll never hear before. It gets you excited, gets your adrenaline flowing. It's amazing, the sound. And when they come around, I mean, it's just crazy. And I loved it, and I think everybody should do something like that. Try to do something different. You know, I hope everybody does that. I mean, I try to do different things, and I'm going to do what we have. Again, Larry on the Road is going to be going to Disney, and we're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. So I think you guys will like that. The NASCAR, we're going to start it with doing that. We have a few extra cameras. We're going to see how that works. And again, it's because everybody asks what I do and stuff like that. Listen, if you see me out there, you guys know how I am. I answer emails, I sign books, you know, say hello, you know. I actually met a guy I was at Captain Hiram's, and I don't know, and it was a biker or somewhere, and nice guy, great guy, says, Larry, I watch your videos. And it turns out that we actually knew people in prison, same prisons, and all the crazy stuff this world is. But most people have made mistakes are turning their life around. I hope you are. Have a great day, everybody. Please enjoy the weekend. Daytona's here. Have a great day, everybody. Stay strong, stay safe.